He speaks geek. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Where have you been, you ask? Well, you're not asking, probably. I was going to do that thing where I was going to do videos all the time, and then life got in the way, and then I work in finance, and it's tax year end here in the UK, which means it's like retail at Christmas, but less fun. There's nothing actually remotely fun about it. Anyway, I thought I'd better do a quick video, just because I wanted to, and need a bit of a creative outlet, you know, that kind of thing. How are you? We haven't just talked in a while. What's new with you? Wow, silent treatment. Thanks. What am I going to talk about today? So as you can see, this looks a bit different from when I last did a video. I have organised some of it, but still nowhere near as much as I should have done. But again, tax year end, no free time. So as you can see, I've got some actual bits on display for a change, and this may look really organised here, but what I've done is I've actually covered the crap up with boxed things to make it look nicer on the video. But if I took it down, you'll just see all kinds of whole mess of stuff right up in here. So some interesting things here though. I'm a 90s Star Wars kid. I know. I collect vintage mainly because when I was a kid in the 90s, it was in the boot sales, it was a mix of Power of the Force 2, which is the 90s Star Wars stuff, and vintage stuff, which we used to just get bucket loads of for next to nothing. If only I knew then what I know now. But still, I was a big fan of 90s random Star Wars things, still am, and this is one of them, which is the Topps trading card, where they do these little plastic heads that have candy in them. Don't know how fresh they're going to be, but maybe we'll have a look at that one day. And then I'll do a live stream from the hospital afterwards when I have my stomach pumped. We've got a mint in box, well, not mint in box, but a boxed G1 Optimus Prime, which my very, 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 very dear friend and best man at my wedding, John Maybe, got me for a wedding present in autumn. We've got the Back to the Future DeLorean crossover transformer. We've got Adam West. What else have we got? We have got Raindrops and Roses. No, we haven't. Here we have, this is a new thing that I've just discovered, thanks to my friend Dave. Dave, if you're watching this, you are watching this, I'm going to send you the link to it. So me and Dave have been discussing quite a lot about this. This is the Marvel retro collection that Kenner have started doing, very Secret Wars versus DC Superpowers kind of line. So I guess the Star Wars retro collection has really inspired Hasbro to do much more in the way of retro things. So this is a series of retro figures. I have got the other ones over there. Again, I'm using it to cover up something I don't want people to see. But we will talk about them very soon, because I got a lot to say about that subject, and we gonna talk about it. Subject today, Ryan. I know. Well, from that cutaway, you can probably guess that it is indeed a Transformers video. It's not Star Wars today. I know, it did happen. It finally happened. Other than the Batwing, it's been very Star Wars heavy, I know. And the thing is, I even wrote more Star Wars episodes, but I will get to them. But it's going to be a lot of Star Wars. But today is Transformers, and even better, it's about something I'm very passionate about. It's Blaster and Soundwave. Now, these two characters are my favourite. Blaster being my absolute favourite Transformer character of all time. I grew up watching all the VHS tapes of the original 80s cartoon. Absolutely fell in love with it. I had a few of the comics, but the toys, again, they were just at boot sales, and we had a thing called the Essex Chronicle, which was just the newspaper with the classified listings, and it used to be that thing where the minute the paper came out, everyone used to race to call the numbers for the listings, which said that, you know, loads of Transformers for sale, £2 a pop. It's like a G1 Sunstreak complaint. It's like, oh, £2, don't play with it anymore, this kind of thing. And you just go, oh, again, if I only knew. So I had quite a few, a lot of things, because my mum used to pick them all up for me at the second-hand market in Chelmsford and everything. So, but the ones I loved in the actual series were Soundwave and Blaster, because they were Transformers, and I guess it was the closest of a Transformer Inception type thing before Headmasters, because they were cassette players. Well, one was a boombox, one was a Walkman, and then their chest would open and little cassettes would come out, which would then transform even further. So it'd be like double the Transformer awesomeness. Transform. Although that actually sounds like a weird kinky thing. Ignore that, scrap that. Can we cut? Awesome Transformers is what I meant to say, nothing else. I hope I did that right. Maybe. Anyway, back to my favourite characters. Blaster premiered in season 2, I believe, of Transformers, the animated series, back in the 80s. Soundwave was there from the beginning, originally turning in the pilot episode into some kind of weird lamppost. Confirmed. Back on Cybertron. So on Cybertron, I'm guessing it's going to be some kind of like listening post or something retcon now, but it was a lamppost. He turned into a lamppost, and he basically was just like that, hunched over, and then he transforms it. Oh, they never saw me. I'm in disguise. Just amazing characters. I'll probably do a video exploring the whole characters another time, because I want to talk about the G1 toys. I want to talk about the characters in the show. I want to know what they did. I want to tell you about the headmasters. I want to tell you about the fact they became 2 different other characters just to change the mold of a toy slightly. But today I'm going to talk about the things I have to hand, which are actually, conveniently, what I would consider Transformers for your pocket. I'm not getting them out of my pocket, so kind of killed that one a bit. So first of all, I've got, these are third-party Transformers, by the way, and when I say third-party, what I mean is this is someone that's not Hasbro or Takara that have decided to make their own versions of Transformers. Some people are against it. I'm actually all for it, because you know what, sometimes it's the only way we get a decent version of a figure. And let's be honest, there's still more than enough collectors get stuff from Hasbro and Takara. I don't think it's making that much of a dent in their products, because these are trying something different. So this is from Magic Square, the company is called. Soundwave. So very kind of much better being kibble free than the Blaster I'm about to show you in a bit. So this is the cassette mode, Walkman mode. No headphones, weirdly. Doesn't fit real cassettes. Just thought I would put that out there now, just in case you started wondering. It's a really nice mold. What else can you say about it? It looks like Soundwave from the cartoons, not necessarily more of the comics or anything like that. The weapon storage, so in the original G1 toy, it was in this battery clip here, which they have molded, which is nice. However, what they have done instead is make it so you can, they sort of clip into these grooves here, which you can see. So I'm going to put those to one side. Transformation is nice and simple. 3 hours later. No, it is simple, I promise. I have this problem with the tab bits, though. They can be a bit sticky sometimes. Don't do this at home. So that's one foot out. So we just basically have to repeat this process. That one came out much easier. Flip the legs round so that the feet are forward. The hands come out of the arms, which I've just folded forward, and then surprise reveal the head and flippity flip. Here we go. There's the head. So this is his shoulder cannon, which will have a nice little port on there, which we can just pop that in. And then he has his hand blaster, gun, laser, sonic rifle, sonic screwdriver, bat symbol. I don't know what it's called off the top of my head. I have a good fountain of knowledge up here, and I probably should start researching things, writing them down and giving you the facts, but then wouldn't be very me. So here we go. Here he is, his Soundwave. Obviously, we're used to his voice being the amazing kind of monotonic Microsoft Sam-esque synthy voice. So mold-wise, again, I think it's really good. I think it's really close to the character. It is almost like the cartoon, pretty accurate to it. Again, size-wise, we're talking almost Star Wars figure size. I think this is about 4 inches, 4.5 inches, maybe. Again, I should have like a measuring thing up here, and I can tell you these things, because you guys probably want to know this, because this whole Legends series, what I think is the technical name for the scale, different companies do them ever so slightly different, so it makes the characters really weirdly out of scale, and it's very hard to work out if you want to get one continuous run of, say, all the characters from the original cartoon as this size. It's really hard to work it out. So this is by a company called Magic Square. I got this for next to nothing, because on eBay you can get them for next to nothing. They don't. Sometimes they're really expensive, sometimes they're really cheap. I guess this might even be a knockoff of a third party, so a fourth party, maybe. I don't know how that works. Articulation is ridiculously good, so this is pretty much what he looked like in. Actually, there we go. I can show you what he looked like in that one cartoon I told you about. I think he was basically that. Again, Cybertronian lamppost. So that's good to know. He actually has a secret other mode that, you know, they didn't put on the instructions, which I definitely read. Because that's part of the fun of Transformers, is reading the instructions. So I say articulation is great. So you've got the arms. You can almost drop him. You've got the ball joints on the hips, because the hips don't lie. And the knee joint, also knee swivel, which is good. Toes flat, but I think it's more for the transformation. Ball jointed hands, so you can flip them around, so you can get a bit of a, hey, waiting for the bus type thing. Me, here. Head again on a ball joint, can go all the way around, which is really good. And you're probably thinking, what other articulation could he have? Well, he doesn't have waist articulation, like swivel, but he does have a little functioning opening hatch, just like what's this? What's this? There's something in his chest. I almost dropped it and lost it forever. It's a tiny laser beak. Teeny beak. So here is teeny tiny beak. I mean, I have got massive hands, just putting this out right here. I mean, if that looks terrifying to you, I'm sorry. It could be you. Sorry, lottery joke if you're in the UK. What do? We have to pull out these tiny little wings. Flip this. I'm doing the whole neck thing, like, yeah, it's so tiny. So what we've done this tiny little move here. We've moved the wings and we've taken the head out. And then we have a tiny laser beak. Isn't he adorable? Hashtag adorbs. I don't understand how hashtag works still, but yeah. Does he fit in anywhere? He actually vaguely almost fits on Soundwave's head, which I don't know why I wanted to explore that option straight away. So scale-wise, it's great. I mean, it's just a lovely little add-on. You just go, they didn't need to do it, but they did it, and it looks good. But then now suddenly you want a mini version of all of them. I mean, Buzzsaw would be simple, would just be a repaint. Interestingly, they did Laserbeak, because the original toy came with Buzzsaw. But most third-party things seem to be packed in with Laserbeak, because it's more popular, and was in the show the show more. There we go. So here we go. That is Soundwave. Missing obviously the decals. I'm guessing they can't put the Decepticon logos on, because then that's when Hasbro would be like, and they don't call him Soundwave. He's probably called like Music Man Bot 5000. So they get really weird, like KO, like knockoff type names. So this is Soundwave, and let's talk about the other one. Who can it be? Blaster. Now, Blaster's my all-time favourite character. Always has been, and I think will always be one of the two. Pick your own. I love this one. This one is by a different company called Mech-Fan Toy. I think it is MFT. I think that stands for Mech-Fan Toys. Again, it could be a knockoff of the third party. The fourth party. We're going to start calling it the fourth party because I can, and I will. It's my channel, damn it. So here he is. He's the Ghetto Blaster, as he's called. Again, no Autobot symbols because of various trademark reasons, but you can always just go to repro labels, or toy hacks, I think they're called now. I always can think of them as repro labels, which I'll drop a link in the description for. Get some Autobot symbols and Decepticon symbols and stick these bad boys up. And sometimes they even do upgrade kits for these things. So, you know, it's always worth checking them out. And it's good if you want to restore some of your own Transformers. I'm going to do that with Countdown to go up there, which we will talk about one day, which is a Micromaster base. It's really hard to do this when you're looking at the screen rather than the item. We'll talk about that another day. So here we go, Blaster. The alt mode is great. The back is more kibbly. And by kibbly, I mean you can see all the hands and everything like that. I'm okay with that because I don't get the big anger behind that sometimes from fans, because they're like, oh, you know, you could see all his hands and stuff, but I never display them backwards. I've never put them on a shelf like this. So I'm not sure how much I care, because I'm going to see them like this. Yeah, so I've never really got that as a big problem. I get some people just want to, it's the whole idea of it being in disguise, so maybe they want a flawless and seamless thing, but if you're in it for just more the characters and to have it on your shelf and you're not as fussed about it, then this is absolutely fine. If it is something you do particularly care about, I would avoid it in that sense. How does we transform him? I don't know why I said that I got him. How does we transform sons? Stupid hobbits. Oh, I do voices, by the way. I don't know if you've noticed that. Aspiring voice actor at some point, hopefully, maybe, always going to do it at some point, but we shall see, won't we? We're opening, I haven't even told you what I'm doing, so we take these panels down, we fold it up, and you can see there's a tab here, inside the leg, there's clicks. The handle just folds up alongside the legs, if anything, giving a bit of detailing. The foot flips back, so we have that, and you can see his leg really forming there. So again, fold, flip, forward and flip and clip. What a workout, gang. The arms just then pulled down effectively. His head is hidden in the back in the battery clip, so you pull that open, lift that up, back then forward, flip up, and what else am I? Oh, he does have waist articulation, but for part of transformation, so you can spin this around, right around, baby, right around, like an Autobot, and done. I'm gonna get told off like music rights now, aren't I, or something? And here we have him, Blaster. I mean, it's so good looking. It looks exactly like the cartoon, not the toy, the cartoon. Here's his weapon, which I think is called a Ghetto Blaster, maybe. Again, I don't know. I might seem a bit odd that I say these are my favourite characters, and I don't know all the accessory names. But it's because I say, you'll notice a lot when I watch, if you watch multiple of my videos, I say everything's my favourite. If I love something a lot, then I always go like, oh, it's my favourite. Everything's my favourite. And apparently I like everything, even though there are things I don't like in this world. So shut up, John, maybe. Just joking. Love you, baby. It's amazing. It's exactly like the cartoon. For me, this is this is what I always wanted as a kid. I had the Action Master Blaster, which is still one of my favourite, most cherished toys, and mine is played with to oblivion. And actually, I can show you him. This is how he's always kept to hand. This is my Action Master Blaster, who's actually been vaguely jerry-rigged with like a Z-bot hinge and half of a G.I. Joe with extra bits on it. It's been painted and coloured, but here he is. So this is my childhood favourite toy, and it still is. And he's always to hand because I've got to keep him safe because he means more to me than any of these other toys, pretty much. So going back to this one, so it is exactly like the cartoons. What I always wanted from when I was a kid. The G1 toy I didn't get too many years later. It's great, it's big, but it doesn't look like the cartoon in a lot of ways. The head sculpts don't, because obviously it was again micro change line before it got bought out and become part of the Transformers universe. And like a lot of the old Transformer G1 toys, the cartoon characters didn't always look like the G1 toys. We knew this, and vice versa. It's something they've got much better at with the more recent lines like Earthrise and War for Cybertron Prime Wars Earthrise Combiner series Titan Master Returns. There's so many different names, and they seem to change the series so quickly now, I can't keep up. So, what do we think about articulation? We have got the full joints again, so double jointed elbows, swivels, ball joint shoulders, swivelly hands. He's got the nice kind of pose like this. So, good for if he's holding the gun, so it looks like the trigger, but then also if he's not, he can actually look like he's pointing, which I think is pretty decent. And the head sculpt, again, brilliant. See if we can get it to focus. He's got those beautiful baby blues on a ball joint, so he can move all the way around. Again, knee, leg, swivels. He's got a waist swivel, which is good. He can, I worked out, just about do this, which is hit his own button. Get that past the sensors. Which is really lovely because it's just like the cartoon where he'd be like, you know, sick 'em in the movie. So he can look like he's ejecting himself. These buttons do move, which is good. And of course, the bones, which you can probably see if I've done that up close, this does open up as well. And what's this? Again, we have another mini cassette. And this one is double chunky. And it is Ram Horn. His head, he's a rhino of two heads. So you can either have this kind of very odd looking creature, or you can fold it in half and have just the one. This is a really clever way of doing it because it does give a much more three-dimensional, say, figure, model. I'm sort of really happy with that. The detail isn't super detailed, but it's enough for the size of something that's only a couple of centimeters long. I mean, you can't really go wrong with that. So him compared to Laserbeak, say two different companies, same kind of idea, both well executed. Can't really argue against that. So let's talk about comparison between the two figures. Now, in the cartoons, Blaster's always portrayed as being a bit bigger than Soundwave, which is good because he actually in the toys, the original G1 toys, there was a huge height difference. Argument could be made with the difference between a Ghetto Blaster, which is, you know, big sound system with the speakers in it, and a Walkman was even bigger. So, but again, scale is just something that doesn't exist really in a lot of Transformers lore. So, let's put them side by side. So one is, one of these is not like the other. There is a bit of a difference. And sometimes it irks me because I quite like the idea of them being the same size, but I can actually really live with the slight size difference because they look good together. And once you start sort of bending these and putting them in poses, you're probably not going to notice it as much as, you know, we could just do the old Father Ted things, you know, near and far, far away. It could just do a bit of perspective, so you can make one look bigger than the other that way. That always works. So, and look, it looks even bigger. Oh my god, it's mini Soundwave. So, what do I think of them as a pair? As a pair, they're brilliant. They work well together. They're worth every penny, because again, I didn't pay much for either of these, because I suspect they might be knockoffs of the third parties or fourth parties. Get them. If you love the characters, get them. If you want something a bit smaller, because the other thing is sometimes big Transformers take up a lot of space, and if you are going to collect things in this size, you can get a lot more of these on a shelf if you want to create your own dioramas and things like that. The posability is insane, so again, you can create more scenes. I really like this scale, and I kind of wish maybe the toy companies looked at more overall picture things. I appreciate they're meant to be for kids a lot of the time, the toys, but they're not stupid. They know how many, especially this day and age, it's a massive trend for adults to be collectors of things they're nostalgic for. So why not invest in a line like this? Call it the Collector Series. I mean, they have got the Studio Series, which they do. Great, but they're bigger. But think about something like this. If they did it at a much better price point, think of the repaints they could put out. I mean, they love a repaint, but just think, they could make one universal scale. They could start manufacturing play sets or things like that, dioramas. There's a whole other revenue stream for them, and they're just not even thinking of it. They're just focused on getting the next repackaged version of it out, and again and again and again. So, I really recommend these. If you're a big fan of the Cassette Transformers, kind of a big deal on a Facebook group. Doing that, I ain't got any hair. It's Cassette Transformers. I'm going to put a link to it down in the description below. Myself and two friends I made through my love of Cassette Transformers created it. It's just a wonderful group. It's a safe space for cassette fans. It's all got to be cassette related, so it'd be Soundwave, Blaster, third party. We've got someone on there who makes their own cassettes, Sarah and her husband, and they are insanely good. One day I'll hopefully be able to get some. They are so good. It's just so clever. And then we've got one of the founders as well, Cuss Strands, makes some incredible custom figures. He does some amazing sticker sets, artwork, and I've actually got some stuff of his that I'm going to review. So here's a quick little preview of what I have to hand cassette wise, because I'm going to do a lot of these cassette videos. I haven't worked out a name of the title yet for this whole series, but let's have a quick look. I'm having to sort of crouch down a bit because this is my sort of what I would call G1 cassette size collection. So these are weirdly, I don't actually have all the official release cassettes still, which you might think is a bit mad considering how many I'm showing you in this box right now. So these are all, so a lot of these are things like knockoffs. There are a couple of bits in here, like I said, that are made by a very, very talented dear friend of mine, which is Cuss Strands. So these are cassette cases. So these are cases for the cassettes that look like Soundwave and Blaster. I'll be doing a review about them very soon. We've actually got some of these custom pieces in here as well, which are amazing. We've got all sorts of things from the converters line. We've got the Dino cassettes. I've got knockoffs that are translucent. I've got ones that are really odd. I've got ones that are multicolored rainbow extravaganzas. I've just got a bit of everything. I've got a Soundwave Junior. I've got a Soundwave Junior KO. I've got a knockoff of a Kabaya kit, which is a knockoff of that Kabaya that's a knockoff of that, which is a Super KO Triple Smackdown, I think. I don't know. I've got bits and pieces all over here, and this isn't with all the weapons. It's just what I could get my hands on. These odd little disc bits. There's just a lot in here to go through. It's something I want to give each one a little bit of attention to, so maybe just quick couple of minute videos. But yeah, that's something that's upcoming. So I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what we've got to look forward to on this cassette journey. And yeah, join our Facebook group if you are a big cassette fan, and we'll share some lovely memories, hopefully. And you can ask any questions you got, you can share your creations, your ideas, and you can see the wonderful world of Transformer cassettes. So I've been Ryan Speaks Geek. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I won't tell you what's coming next because every time I do that, I don't end up doing that video. So it will be whatever it will be. So just keep your fingers crossed. If you don't care, I know you don't care. But if you do watch the next one, thank you. And thank you for watching this one if you stayed this long till the end, just to hear me waffle on about stuff I like. So thank you very much. Speaks Geek out.
Bar with granite.